Welcome to Save the Story Podcast, where books and snacks are life. This is Nicole.
And I'm Vanessa. And news for you.
Right into news?
Right into news.
All right.
I didn't want to tell you I was doing this, but so we have officially have 9 episodes out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have over 200 downloads officially now.
Yes.
So
thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you for listening. Keep watching it and seeing how it's going. And I was very excited when I pulled it up this morning and I was like, that's more than 200.
We're basically famous.
We're basically famous, yes.
Basically famous. Right. We were just talking about how when we became basically famous, if we ever made any money off this podcast, first thing we're buying Vanessa is a mic boom arm.
Yes,
So
that will
everybody-
actually hold the mic.
So everybody keep listening so we can get Vanessa a new boom mic arm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, mine is it's wussy and it keeps falling down. Yes. So I just wanted to start off with telling you our download news.
Oh, thanks.
You're
That made my
welcome.
day.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. You guys are the best. So,
All right. Now that we got that out of the way,
yeah. Well, podcast over.
done.
Episode done.
Mhm.
Check.
All right. Tell me about your week. Any fun things? Any good snackies? Tell me all the things.
All right, fine, I will. It's going to be long and involved.
Great.
This week did not make sense to me. Because of last week and going up to Detroit to visit my sister and then driving home and then being at home for literally one day and then turning around and going away again for work. And then in the middle of that work, they're like, change of plans, time to leave again. And then being like, I'm not driving all the way back down to Ohio.
Right.
I was like, I'll just drive up to my cabin. So that I did that. And I had several instances this week where I didn't know what day it was.
I bet, because you were all over the place traveling for work and then traveling from Ohio and traveling over to the cabin. Like at any point I would have been like, I don't know what this is.
Right. So on Wednesday, I thought it was Sunday.
That is a massive jump.
Yes. And then on Friday, I thought it was Tuesday. Yeah. So in a meeting on Friday, and I'm like, oh, I'll talk about it tomorrow. And everybody's like, no, nobody's working
Nicole.
tomorrow. And I was like, God darn it. And then this morning I woke up and I panicked because I hadn't finished a book yet, my second book yet. And I was like, shit, it's Monday. So
You're having problems all the way around.
yes.
It probably doesn't help too that we're about to travel for work again this coming week. And so you're never going to know what day it is.
I know. I was just about to say that. Like, I am not, like, next week I'm going to be totally confused.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to babysit me.
Okay, great. You're going to be like, it's time to go. And I'll be like, Nicole, it's Tuesday.
I'm like, dang. So,
yes.
yeah, so it was one of those types of weeks where I just literally had no clue what was going on or what I was doing or what day it was. But
sometimes that makes for a really long week. Like, just, you never know when it's going to end.
Mm-hmm. Yes, true. I would say that's pretty good approximation of what happened this week.
Great.
So I did Thursday, Friday from the cabin, and yeah, it was good. I mean, what did we do? I didn't really do anything, to tell you the truth, because like one, working, and then two, it was mostly just relaxing because hunting season has started.
Oh.
And when it's hunting season, you're not really supposed to drive your quads around. They have like quiet hours for hunting and like stuff like that. And also you're not going to go,
it's a little dangerous.
Yeah. Not going to go stomp about the woods, but I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, I I could do it. Bow season seems like a less dangerous time to be out than, like, let's say gun season, you know?
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to get shot with an arrow?
Right. Not particularly.
Like, both options sound terrible.
No.
So,
you talking about hunting season reminded me, can I tell you a little story real fast?
Yes.
I was driving home from the campsite that Tim and I were at this week, and I had my first ever experience since living in Ohio of a deer running across the street in front of me. It was terrifying. I see them on the side of the road a lot, right? Like, right. I see them on the highways and all that kind of stuff. And I know that they're out there, but this is the first time I've ever had it run across in front of my car, and I actually had to, like, slam on the brakes.
Jump out at you?
Yes. He just, like, jumped out and ran across real fast, and then I looked in my rearview mirror and another one crossed right as I, like, right after. So it was terrifying, and I don't ever want to experience that again. Thank you.
All right. We'll put in a call to the state of Ohio.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, you say that, and you reminded me on the way home today, driving from the cabin. They what was it? Oh, yes. Okay. So I was driving home, and I saw a deer standing on the side of the road too, and so I slowed down because, of course, you slow down. But as I got closer, I was like, "Why is that a deer wearing a necklace?"
Okay.
Somebody apparently has, like, I don't know if it's their pet deer or it's one that it's basically tame because it eats from their feeders all the time, but it was standing in this guy's front yard, and it had an orange reflective dog collar on it. Like a collar? Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to slow down so I could get a picture because I was like, I have to. And by the time I, like, slowed down, I tried to back up. It was like, oh no.
He didn't like you.
No paparazzi, please. Right. And it took off into the backyard. So
that's silly.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, I hope that it deters people from shooting it. Right. If it's like, oh, they think it's a pet, or you know, like, oh, it's somebody's pet. But at the same time, I'm sure there's hunters out there who are like,
oh, for sure,
easy kill.
Yeah,
and then they don't care. So
well, then
I hope it works out.
Yeah, if it's like a reflective collar, you just made it easier for the hunter to spot him.
Yeah. So I hope it works out for you, my friend. Yes. I hope your pet deer is still there.
I agree.
At the end of the season.
Yep, me too.
But I mean, in my mind, if it's like a female, a doe, there's probably less chance of it getting shot because there's just like a shit ton of doe up there.
Oh, okay.
But if it's a male, if it's a buck, you better be sawing off those antlers because it don't matter if that doe has like a rack if that buck has a rack, like, people are gonna
go after it.
They're just gonna, like, they're not hunting the deer, they're hunting the rack at that point. So tip, if you ever decide to adopt a baby deer. So
I mean, maybe think about those choices, but yes.
Yeah. So anyway, but other than that, we didn't really do anything. We went to this new place that we've never been to before. I think my mom has been there, and she told me about it a while ago, but it's called, like, the Brewhouse, and it's, if anybody knows where Harrisville is, but it's, like, right on, like, you could see Lake Huron basically from this place, so it's really pretty. I sent you that picture because it was really nice that night, but we never been there, and the food was great. Mike's, like, determined that he wants to go back there, like, every single time.
Oh, great.
he's like, I don't know why we eat crap food other places when we can eat good food at this place. So food was good. I had a vegetarian stir fry, and Mike had fish, which he let me try. It was very good.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then, but I say that because that's where my snack this week comes in.
It is?
Yes, I had a delicious key lime pie there. It was very tasty.
Okay.
Key lime pie is one of my favorite snackies.
It is?
So, oh yes, I love key lime pie.
Okay.
And Mike had coconut cream pie because it was homemade, and he was convinced that made it better. So
I mean, fair assessment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yep. But
that's nice.
That was it. That was about my week. So
okay.
Not a lot to say for how long it felt.
Right. Yeah, I don't really have a lot with my week either because I worked Monday and Tuesday and then took off the rest of the week and went out to a campsite with Tim. And we were there Wednesday to Thursday. Well, I was there Wednesday. Nope, not Thursday. I was there Wednesday to Saturday. No. When did I leave? What is life?
You thought about leaving on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Okay, so Tim, let's start over. Tim was there from Sunday until we left on Friday. And then I went up there on Wednesday and we left on Friday. But while we were up there, it's a location where he's done a 100-mile race before. And so there were quite a few spots that like we drove out to, and he showed me like, this is where I almost puked myself. This is where where I wanted to die and questioned all of my life choices.
You got a play-by-play.
Yes, exactly. So we went out, and then he was like, I want to show you this waterfall that we pass on the trail, like for the race. And we went out there and there was no water. So it was beautiful.
Look at these rocks.
Yeah. Just imagine there's water falling. But it was nice. It was like the dogs got to go out and go for a little adventure. So that was, I mean, at least the dogs got a good walk out of it.
Yeah. Well, that one picture you sent me was super cute. It was very fall-esque.
Oh, with the puppies?
Yes. Yeah. They got to go on their puppy walk, and it was all like leaf color and stuff like that. So,
yeah, that was just walking around the, I think the one I sent you was just walking around the campsite. But then I got a couple more of us out on the trails that Tim had ran. So, yeah, it was fun. It was difficult to stay on a diet while camping.
Oh, really?
Oh, so but it's also my fault because I'm the one who bought all the things to put in the camper, right? So my snack this week is going to be apple cider donuts.
Oh, good
They were
choice.
So delicious. I bought so when Tim and I went to buy food for the camping trip, they had apple cider donuts and pumpkin donuts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, which one do you want? Like, I would like the apple cider, but if you want pumpkin, we can get that. And he was like, why don't we get both? So we got both.
And you're like, you're right. We're going camping.
Exactly. So I had a bunch of other snacks too, but that one's going to be my my rating this week. Yeah, they were delicious. They were just like the box donuts, but
yeah,
they were so good.
Mm-hmm. I love apple cider
I
donuts.
probably ate half the box, so whoopsie.
That's fine.
Yeah. So this isn't something that happened in my week, but I do have like a previous book update.
Okay.
So last week I read The Outsider by Stephen King, and I hadn't talked to my sister yet when we recorded, but I talked to her this weekend. And skip ahead now a little bit if you don't want spoilers for The Outsider or It.
Okay.
Skip. So she has read It before, and she said The Outsider was actually almost a retelling of It, which she didn't like that because like if you've read it before and you know the story of It, like why would you just want another retelling? But she said basically he like feeds off of fear and like all that kind of stuff from children. Like he wants all of the misery around him, and that was the same thing in The Outsider, is that's what The Outsider is that he feeds off of all of this misery with people. And then she also said the end, like when at the end of The Outsider, when they get rid of him, like kill him or whatever, it's the same, almost like exactly the same as they did it in It. And so I didn't have that experience because I hadn't read It before or actually seen the movie before. But for her, she was like, I don't like this. Like, why am I reading the same thing? So for anyone who had been considering The Outsider, keep it in mind if you already know the story of It.
So did she finish it then?
She
finished
did.
The whole book. Oh,
yeah.
So that was nice of her to stick it out, even though she's like, oh man.
Yeah. And I mean, like obviously there were some differences, but the killing of him at the end is like almost exactly the end. Like there's very little after. And so she made it through all of that. And by the time it got there, she was like, what is happening? But she ended up rating it 3 stars. So okay. Yeah, basically good story, but it's kind of the same thing I said. Good story, but it was just whatever. Just yeah. But I just wanted to give that update for anyone if anyone had been considering going after The Outsider.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you've read Stephen King books before, you've probably read multiples or want to read multiples. I mean, I'm assuming there. I don't think I've read any of his books. And I think I talked about reading The Shining for Halloween season this year. And then it didn't happen because that's a really long book. Yeah,
all of that. That's what she said, that it was like 900 something pages. And she was like, it could have been like 400. So, and then that's also how I felt about The Outsider. It was like 700 or something, 600, and it could have been shorter for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to give that little update.
Cool. Well, thank you for that update. Everybody can come back now.
Yes, you can come back. I have one more book thing to tell you. Sorry.
Do people need to stop listening again?
No, there's no. Okay. Just I just thought it was funny. I saw a reel this morning, and it was this guy who was re-rating all of his previously rated book talk books. And basically he was like, I let the pressure get to me and I rated these books based on their book talk like famousness. And he was like, I'm gonna re-rate them based on how I actually feel. And it made me think of how hard it was for me to rate Quicksilver last week. And I feel like that's exactly like what he was saying in re-rating his book was like exactly how I felt, because I was like, this book has to be 5 stars, right? Everybody online loves it. It's got to be 5 stars. And that's why I struggled so much. So it felt nice seeing this Bookstagram guy be on my side.
Yeah, it's amazing how much other people's opinion of a book can influence like your opinion of a book. Yeah. So
you just like you want to love it so much, and you're like, yeah, it's 5 stars. Totally, I agree. Yes. So anyway, I think that's all my updates now. So we can get into our reviews now.
Okay. You want to go first?
Whatever you want.
Okay, I can go first.
Okay. Okay, you go first.
Yes. So the book that I was planning on finishing this week, I didn't finish.
Oh no.
But I finished 2 other books. So they were both audiobooks though. So and this comes up because the amount, like I said earlier, the amount of driving I did this week was the only reason I was able to get through 2 audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because normally I'm not driving that much. So I am going to start with my least favorite.
Okay.
And I don't know. There's not really a reason it's my least favorite. I just didn't didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. It's The Patron Saint of Lost Souls by Menna van Praag. I saw that on it was on Everand, and I picked it up because whatever. I'm gonna sidestep for a second though, and I'm gonna say I have noticed in Everand that they do not have as many like history books. Yeah. Like specific, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's more like, if you want to call it the more popular genres, like maybe like fantasy or fiction. I don't know if thriller is the same because I don't read that, but like it feels like there's more books in specific genres than there is others.
Yeah, I've had a lot of luck finding thriller and mysteries for sure. Some fantasy, but I feel like the thriller mysteries, I'm like almost 10 for 10 out of like finding the book that I want to read on there, or like 9 out of 10, we'll say.
Right. Yeah.
But the other genres for sure are a little light.
Yeah. Because I wanted to read like a history book or something like that this week, and there was none on there. And I was like, well, I waited until the last minute to look for a book, so I didn't have anything like on Audible either, so I was just like, whatever, I'll just listen to this book. And I'm not sad that I listened to it, but I am still sad that it wasn't like a history book or something.
It's not what you were looking for.
Right. Yeah. And that might have influence into what I end up rating it. And that's the only reason I bring it up, because it wasn't exactly what I was wanting to read, but it was still a good book. So I would consider this to be a romance. Okay. There is like the storylines are romance, but it's also a little bit of like fantasy fiction.
Okay.
So yeah. So the book is 2 main story arcs now. And they just kind of side by side, back and forth between some of the back and forth between chapters of these characters. And the first story arc is about this lady. Her name is Jude, and she runs this. This is where the fantasy part comes in. This like mystical shop. It's an antique shop, and all the antiques in there give the specific buyers their greatest wish. So if you go into that shop, and like one of the examples they give is this guy came in because him and his wife were trying to have a baby, and he found something, and like supposedly it's gonna like help them conceive a child.
Okay.
But you never go into the story arcs of any of the people who buy any of the stuff. Okay. You don't ever really find out what happens about any of this stuff.
Great.
Like as soon as it's bought and the people leave, that's the end of the fantasy part.
Weird.
Yes. Okay. So another reason I was kind of like, huh.
So it's almost like, then why are you even telling me this story? Like, is it just a way for you to find out what the shop is doing? Or like, why do I need to know these people's lives?
Right. So the main point I think of the shop is all these people are coming in there to get like their, if their wish is, she keeps saying their wish has to be pure. Like they can't come in there and be like, I hope this wins me $1 million. The people don't know that when they go in there, but they go in there like in the antique draws to them, and it's like a talisman. And the point of it is, even though she works there, she doesn't have that kind of luck. So doesn't have like luck. She's single. She's been single for a long time. Her mother passed away previously. She doesn't have a great rapport with her father, who was abusive in her younger years. So she's just not like a very happy person. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the main point, and so one day she gets a phone call and she finds out that she had a half sister, and her half sister has now passed away. And she's found out that she is now the legal guardian of her 11-year-old niece. And
what a thing to just find out.
Right. Like, that's like the people calling and being like, hey, can you come and meet this little girl? That's how she finds out that she had a half sister.
Wow.
And her half sister is passed away. And she's not young. She's not like 20. She's like, I think in her 50s.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's the first half of the story, is like, or that first story arc is her and her niece meeting, and them, dealing with loss, because like obviously her niece just lost her mother,
right?
Found family, on her part, like forgiveness, because like I said, her father is kind of like a deadbeat.
Yeah.
And so then the second storyline is about a girl named Viola and a man named, it's French, and I'm going to mess it up.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to call him Matt.
Okay.
But imagine me saying Matt in a very French voice. Mathieu. So
yes.
I'm just going to call him Maddie.
Okay.
So Viola is, she's a perfectionist, and it's emphasized how much of a perfectionist she is, because also she's a chef. She's a sous chef. She's working in this restaurant. She's worked for like, I don't know, 10 years to go from the bottom up to this, and now there's a spot opening up where there's a head chef position, and it's like they're gonna do like a competition almost, where everybody creates like 4 or 5 dishes, like all the sous chefs who want to be the head chef create 4 or 5 dishes, and whoever has the best dish gets to become the head chef. So she's working towards this. She's been working towards it a long time. It's what she's wanted more than anything else for a really long time. Well, while this is happening, she meets Maddie. Mathieu. He's French, and he is a widower, and he also has a son who is about 11-ish, and he and his son are both they're in England. They've just moved there, and they're there to kind of get over and adjust from the pain of losing, his wife and his son's mother. Yeah. So they've left Paris because there's just too many like bad memories there.
Okay.
So the second story arc is mostly their romance and second chance romance, stuff like that. So like a nice little story. Obviously not one that works out like perfectly the whole time, because there has to be drama,
of course.
Right. So the two storylines don't combine until like the last hour of the book. Oh, this is like a 14 okay 12, I don't know, it's a book, and it's long. But yeah, the last hour of the book is really where the storylines like meet, and intertwine. But it's not like a mind-blowing ending or anything. There's no surprises. I don't think there'll be any surprises for anybody. In my mind, I was like, I think I know what's gonna happen, and then about halfway through, I said that. I was like, I think I know what's gonna happen, and then in the last hour, I was like, oh, here it is. Yep, I was right. So still like a nice little, I don't want to call it a cozy read, but just it was a read.
I listened and read the end.
Yeah. I don't have any strong feelings for or against. I when I went to go put this in my Goodreads, because I didn't put it in before when I started it or anything like that, I went back and I was like, I don't think I did this. And I went in there to put it after I finished the book, and I saw that it was actually rated in Goodreads like 4 stars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wrote down like 3. So a little bit of a,
yeah,
but whatever. Yep. So
all right, 3.
Not a bad book, but
3 key lime pies.
3 key lime pies.
Okay.
Okie dokie, second book. This one I ended up really liking.
Oh, good.
And it's called Regrettably, I Am About to Cause Trouble. By
Fantastic.
Aime McNee. Yes. This was also an audiobook. It's like a let's call it like a historical fantasy, maybe.
Okay.
I guess just because they call themselves witches, but are they really witches? Oh, I don't know. You'll understand. But,
okay.
So, points towards this book is the author is also the narrator.
Excellent.
So that was excellent.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that. So this book, there's this woman. Her name is Lady Maud, and she has a problem.
Okay.
And her problem is that she lives in Tudor England in like 1535.
Okay.
And she has across like her body, like it's explained from like basically stomach to like down like to her knee on like when she has a birthmark that stretches like a significant amount of across her body. The birthmark isn't the issue.
Okay.
The issue is that she has a book like this birthmark in Tudor England. Like that's what this is, because all these motherfuckers in Tudor England, everybody who sees it is like, obviously she's a witch.
Right, of course. You're a witch.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately,
we're going to drown you.
Her, yeah. So, she is arranged marriaged.
That's a verb. Yes.
Yes. To her new husband, and on their wedding night, he basically sees it, even though she's tried to hide it. He's seen it, and now he's like, well, obviously I can't be married to a witch. Be gone with you. So she leaves, and
he doesn't immediately try to kill her.
He doesn't immediately try to kill her.
Okay.
So lucky for her. I think it's because like she's too high a status. Like you can't just be like off with her head,
right.
You know. Plus, like he doesn't really want anybody to know the reason why. Like, you know, because like he can't let people know that he's been seduced by a witch.
Of course not.
Know? Look, she has a black cat. You know. So now Maud, she is kind of on her own, except for the only people in the village who will take her in are these two women who call themselves witches. So she's not really doing herself any favors, because now she's like hanging out with these witches all the time. So she's sending these letters to her family like, hey, you know, you need to come and save me. You need to help me. You need to bring me back in and stuff like that. Cause like I'm hanging out with these witches, and obviously I shouldn't be left with witches.
Right.
You know? So, but while she's living there, the witches are like, look, if you're living here, you need to, you know, pull your weight. You need to help us out here. You can't just be hiding upstairs, us bringing you food. You need to do something.
Exactly.
So like sit at the counter and help these people, you know, send them back. When people come in to meet us, send them back.
Okay.
You know? So she starts doing that. And as a side note, I'm going to speak very briefly on it because it made me giggle. This man shows up, and he, they call him a fairy, and but he's not a fairy. He's, but they're like, obviously we left a fairy trap out, and we caught him in it. And we were like, she's like, he doesn't look like a fairy.
Yeah.
They're like, well, he is, you know. So anyway, he plays a role in the book throughout the whole book, the rest of the book too. But I don't want to say what that role is because I don't want to give away any spoilers. Minus he's there, and it's adorable.
Okay.
So anyways, the more she helps out, and the more people start to fear her and all this other stuff, the more she realizes, like, the more power it gives her, and she kind of likes it. Right? So who can blame her? Right. So she, you know, participates in like witchy activities. She's doing chores, and then I think probably the second half of the last third of the book, the witches are summoned to court. So think Henry VIII. They're summoned to court to do help with like Christmas activities, to like, you know, entertain all of the people at court. Okay. So she goes there.
Are they being invited as a group of witches?
Yes.
Okay.
So like one of the girls, she's really good with like potions and like, help like making people like solves or whatever, like stuff to like help with like rashes or like, upsets tummies or something like that. So, and then the other one, she is like, she like tells people's fortune and like reads stars. And Maud herself, they pass her off as like somebody who can like look at people and like read not what they're thinking but like what they're feeling. So
I was just wondering if they were coming in as like a group of like friends. Are do they think that they're like a group of singers or something, or do they know so they're all going in there as witches. They're gonna like do all their little like party tricks and like entertain all the people at court, like stuff like that. And so when they get to court, they find out that more witchy work is needed, but it's not what is expected. And I'm not going to tell you anymore because I don't want to give away the book. Yes, I don't want to give away the book. But I liked it. It was a great book. But good Lord, is there a significant amount of swearing and profanity in this book? Like, I guess if you have a problem with profanity, maybe don't listen to the book. But also you shouldn't be listening to us.
Why are you listening to this podcast? But yeah, maybe don't read the book or listen to the book. So like I said, a significant amount of swearing. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. It made me giggle the whole time. So I was on the fence when I first started it, because in the beginning Maud is like a selfish little, just not a very nice person. And then throughout the book, you're still like, you could still see it in her, but at the same time, you're like, all right, I can see the growth there, and it's adorable and whatever. So I actually rated that one 4.5 key lime pies.
Ooh, good rating.
I know.
Excellent. So, that one sounds fun.
Yeah, it was great. It's free on Everand. So or part of Everand. I don't know why I said free, but it's part of Everand.
It's free if you pay for it.
Yes. So listen to it.
Yes. Okay. I have a confession.
You didn't read anything this week. No books.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be a real sad confession the day I come in and I'm like, Nicole, I have 0.
I read no books.
Yeah. Between going camping and editing and trying to get through New Moon for bonus bites, I only read one. So, and I listened to it. I had 0 time to like read anything.
Oh man, I believe that.
Also, I don't like that noise you just made when I brought up New Moon. You immediately are like, I'm dead.
Let me tell you where I am in New Moon.
Tell me.
I am on page 75.
Nicole. Oh no. Okay, so, when you guys listen to bonus bites, it's gonna be me talking about it and Nicole being like, oh, that happened?
Just tell me about the whole book now.
Okay, great.
But I will say I have more notes in the first 75 pages than I did for basically the first book.
All of Twilight.
All of Twilight.
That's great. I do have a lot of notes in this one too. I wanted to pull it out, but it's like in a thing, and I'm probably like 75% through. I think I have like 150 pages left or something. Okay. I've been like pushing through. There's a lot of post-it notes.
Well, it might be next week. I just have one book to talk about because I will have had to focus completely on New Moon. So,
well, that was my reason for this week. So yes, hopefully I have 2 that I can talk about next week. I'll give you a little sneak peek. It's very different than what my memory of it is.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So It's take that how you will.
I'm excited to hear all of the this is not how I remember this or like what?
I'm not gonna tell you anything. I was gonna say something, but I'm not gonna. You have to wait. Okay, so I read or listened on Everand. It's called This Is Why We Lied by Karin Slaughter. And it's I read it. It was a book club book. Our book club is next weekend, and so I had to get it in. Also, this, those books that are like, it's a series, but each book is like a standalone. So it like follows the same, like one character, but you don't have to necessarily read all of them. So that's what this book is. It's actually book 12 of this. It's the Will Trent series. It's called A Will Trent Thriller. And actually there's, I'm pretty sure there's a TV show about like the Will Trent series. So it makes me want to watch it now. So like I said, it's a thriller. It was like 12 hours and I listened to it at 1.5 speed. So, dang. Okay. So it follows, Will and Sarah, obviously Will Trent, like the lead of the series, and his new wife, Sarah. He is a, GBI agent, Georgia Bureau of Investigations agent, and she also works with the GBI, but she's a medical examiner. So they are on their honeymoon, and they of course, and they are out at this like mountain lodge. It's called the McAlpine Lodge. And basically they wanted to go somewhere where there's like no Wi-Fi, no phone signal, like all the things, like no distractions, just go and be newlyweds for a week.
Right. And completely turn off everything. Yeah.
Obviously things go awry. So on their first night out there, they're like go out to go swimming. And while they're out swimming, they hear a scream. And so Will goes and runs to try to find out what's happening. And he finds this woman. She's like one of the lodge owners or like one of the managers or whatever. And she's been stabbed. And he tries to save her. And she has like a couple last words that she says to him. But ultimately, she dies. And so they call these kind of, I think they're called locked door mysteries, because basically there's one entry point in and out of this lodge area, like up on the mountain. There's a storm coming, so no one can go like in or out. So basically all of your suspects are literally on the mountain, right? Like there's
so you're stuck with with the murder. Yeah,
exactly. And you have to try to figure out basically who done it. But your suspect pool is very small because it can only be the people who are on the mountain. And on the mountain, I can't remember exactly how many, but there's like at least like 5 or 6 family members and then like 8 guests that are there. So a little handful. So basically, like as they investigate, they finally like get through the storm, and then the GBI comes in and like take over the case and like all that kind of stuff. So they start talking to all of the people, and you realize that literally everyone is lying about everything. Like everything in their life. And so little by little, you kind of find like little pieces of information out from each of the guests and the family members, and you find out all this hidden stuff. I really liked it. I think there was a couple of things. So I was trying to figure out why it's not 5 stars for me. And I can't pinpoint exactly why it's not 5 stars. I feel like maybe a little bit because Will Trent hurts his hand early on when he's trying to save her. And like the whole book then is talking about, like, he brings up his hand a lot, right? Like it's cut open, and so then his medical doctor examiner wife is like, it's gonna get infected, we got to keep it clean, we got to do blah blah blah. I just feel like it's like talked about so much, which is a very small thing, but it was annoying enough to where I was like, okay, it's not 5 star.
You're dead to me.
Yeah, we're done here. You dropped down 4.75. And then there's also, which is not necessarily a doc on the book or how it was written, but there was just like there's a lot of abuse in this, like domestic violence and like and stuff like that. It's like a small town too, so like it's a bunch of people who, like, once you've done one thing wrong in your life in this small town, everyone, like, even though it's 20 years later, they're like, oh, she did this when she was blah blah blah, right? So
obviously she can't trust her.
Exactly. So there was like some of that. There was also a little bit of like a point in the right direction, like whatever. I feel like all of the things that kind of make you think, oh, maybe they did it, oh, maybe they did it, it wasn't so strong that it was like a blaring red herring. I felt like it was written well, like just enough to like make you consider that it could be this person,
right?
But then they switch it.
That's good.
Then it's
someone
my
else. Feelings on red herrings,
right? I will say, I did guess who did it.
Oh, nice.
And I guessed it kind of early on, but not because of the way it was written. I just had a gut feeling.
Nice.
And I had it right.
You've been listening to enough books.
Yeah.
Reading enough of these types of books for long enough. You're like,
yep.
Can't fool me.
Nope, you can't do it.
I should work for GBI.
Right. Where are you at? Georgia. Hire me. Yeah, it was so ultimately I really enjoyed it. It's like 4.5 apple cider donuts. Like maybe 4.5. I don't know. I feel like I've given it too many down points to be that high, but I still feel like I really enjoyed it the whole time. I was excited about what was happening next and like who they were going to talk to next. And I enjoyed the whole, I would like to know if his partner, is in the other books too. Like, is she always his partner or is she just his partner in this case? Like, I want to know that because I would be interested in hearing more from her too. So I kind of want to go back and read some other Will Trent books.
Nice.
I don't think I want to read them all. I'm not like super invested where I'm going to jump into like 15 books, but I may do some Googling to find out what are the best of the Will Trent books and read them.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's that.
Well, I'm glad you had a good book experience.
Yes.
And you got 4.5 apple cider donuts out of it.
Yes, me too.
Is that how many apple cider donuts you also ate this week?
I think so.
Maybe that's why you want to give it a 4.5.
It might be actually. I think I might have eaten 4.5, 5. Whoopsie. Yeah. So I'm excited to go to book club and see how everyone else and if anyone else has read any of the other books in the series. Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Are we ready for discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, it's stuck on me. Okay. What are your thoughts on TV movie adaptation book cover changes? I know mine immediately.
Okay, you go first.
I fucking hate them. I am so, like, I immediately go back to like thinking of the Twilight books. I hate the covers of like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson on the cover. Like, that's not what it is.
Where they're like half that weird half lean and their hair is windblown
exactly.
and stuff. Yeah.
Like, I hate them so much. And then like walking around the bookstores lately, seeing all the Blake Lively ones because of the Colleen Hoover book. Like, why do we want a book with Blake Lively? Like, she's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I assume it's because they're like they do it because they're trying to draw in people who maybe have seen the movie and really like the movie and draw them into reading the book.
For sure.
But like, I don't like it. Like, you know, like I feel like that's such a small sliver of people. You know what I mean? Like, out of everybody who's reading it, you know, who's gonna read that book, it's not gonna probably be like the people who happen to be in the bookstore,
right?
And
exactly.
see it, you know, it's going to be the people who are in the bookstore looking for a book. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know. I think, you know, a previous discussion topic we've had is like book covers and how they make or break. You know.
For sure.
I'd rather have a book cover. A well-designed book cover with like flowers on it,
right?
Like, see somebody's face,
some actor, know? Yeah.
Even just like people in general. Like I don't really like people on.
I don't
covers,
either. Yeah,
you know. So I don't know what it is.
I'm okay if they're like drawn.
Yes,
but real people on covers, I don't love it.
No, it creeps me out of it.
Yeah, I don't really like it. It bothers me a lot too when if there's a book that I find that I want to read, but it's after the book or after the movie has already come out. It's almost impossible to find that book without the movie or TV adaptation cover. And that bothers me so much.
Yeah.
It honestly, it discourages me from reading that book.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's a weird marketing scheme. Because how do you feel that is your, you know, that's your, where all of the people are buying it in the circle? Like, you know, all these people are buying it? No.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
It's like,
I would be interested to see what the statistics are, or like what the, you know, what that information is. Like, do you actually sell more books once the movie adaptation is on the cover?
Yeah. And even then, I don't even think, like, even if there was any like data out there to support, you can't even really say that that's because of the art of the cover.
Sure.
Because, you know, the people already saw the movie, and if it's like based on a book, they're like, well, maybe I'll go read that book.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know,
that it's because they changed the cover. True.
Right.
Very true.
So I think that would be hard to prove. I'd like to see the data, but I don't know how you would prove that data.
True. That's very true.
So that was easy.
Yeah. Do you want to do another one?
Hatred. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Did you hear my ring hit the hit the side? Okay. Oh, another little quick one.
Okay.
Your favorite, first or third person?
Do you have anything that comes to mind?
So I feel like I kind of go back and forth sometimes. Like, I think I prefer first person because my only problem with first person is, like with Quicksilver, I wanted both points of view because I feel like we really, really lost out on Fisher's point of view. So I feel like first person is really good if you have like that one main character that you need, or first person if you're going to have dual point of views.
Yes.
So I feel like I really, really enjoy that if that's how the story is going to be written. But if it's not, then give me third person because I want to know all the things.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't really think I have a preference. Like, I will only read books if they're first or third person.
No.
I don't think there's anything like that. But kind of like what you were saying, or exactly like you were saying, I like first person because I like knowing what the character is thinking. And so, like you said, dual point of view, or if the story is just about that one person. Because as soon as you don't know what the other people are thinking, I'm like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
But also, I guess a second thought on that, though, is like, I don't like it when you have first person and there's like a secret that they have, but they'll tell you every single other thought that's in their head except for that secret. Like, it's a secret from themselves too.
Right.
Like, I want to know how these people do that. You must teach me that trick, because if I have a secret, there is nothing stopping my brain from thinking about it.
That's right.
For my entire life.
Right.
So
they're very good at compartmentalizing it.
Right. Yeah. So they're like, when they're like, oh my gosh, and then this thing happened, and no, I cannot speak of it even to myself. And I'm like, how?
Right.
You're
how
like,
do you not just let your mind flow there?
Right.
It's so weird.
I'd be trying to go to bed and it'd be like popping in my head, or like taking a shower, brushing my teeth. It's the only thing I'm thinking about. Like, oh, my secret.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess we both have kind of the same answer, is we like both, and also it depends.
I like both, but very, very specific situations.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I think the Will Trent book was third person, and I liked it, but I feel like sometimes it was a little difficult in the third person because it jumped from who the who was kind of speaking at that time. So it wasn't first person, but you kind of got their third person point of view, if that makes sense. And sometimes like it would switch and I'd be like, wait, who are we listening about now? And so I feel like all of them kind of have their ups and downs.
Yeah.
As far as like how it's written. So
before we go anything else, I have to put something out. I have to put something out there.
Oh no.
I know. So do you remember in episode 9 where we talked about series and standalone versus? I went in there and I put in my opinion on our Instagram page, and I noticed that you were winning. You had more people than I did say you would prefer series and standalone. So, if
series
you're listening
are superior.
to this, if you're listening to this, all my standalone besties need to get on Instagram, go to episode 9, and find that and represent. Like, I cannot be beaten.
Yes, it's still in the highlight. So you could go to episode 9 highlight and vote for series.
Or a standalone.
No.
Like, we cannot be beaten so easily.
This makes me so happy.
Yeah, I clicked it and I was like, what is this? This is bullshit. I was going to bring it up last week, but I forgot. I just forgotten the whole, like, doing of the episodes. So then I was like, I cannot forget this week. There is still time. Go back and vote. I'm going to go check.
I'm still going to win. Team series. Yay.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, on that note, go to our Instagram. Let me beat Nicole. Also, this week, there will be another poll on there for first and third person, whether you like which one more, and also how much you hate the TV adaptation books.
Sliders.
I'll do a slider for that one. Yes. And then you can also go to our website, savorthestorypod.com. Send us an email on there through the contact form. Send us all your book recommendations and snack recommendations and all the things. Bonus Bites 3 is going to be coming in December. So send us your emails about about Eclipse. Or also Twilight and New Moon. We can bring up anything from the past of those two as well. So yeah, send us your Eclipse information and thoughts. And then also rate and comment in the platform that you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Give us a comment. Up. Yeah. Give us all the things.
I know I sent you this, but I went for a run on yesterday. Did I go for a run yesterday? I don't even know what day, but I went for a run and I listened to one of our episodes while I was on my run. And there was already a little thumbs up in there when I got into the episode and I was like, oh my gosh, we are famous.
See how much happiness you bring when you give us a thumbs up or you give us a 5 stars on there. Just do it just for our happiness, please.
I know. Yeah, it got me through my run, guys.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye. Get out of here. Now I have to do the part that my husband makes fun of me about.
He does?
We were in the restaurant the other day and he was like, books is next to life. Books is next to life. And I was like, stop being a jerk.
What an ass.
I know. He was enjoying it though. And luckily he's never seen my...
Right. Not yet.
So, all right, ready?